All right, Dogs by Nature Rufio here, and today we're going to be looking at a really pedestrian 2 yard gain by Nick Chubb. But these are the kinds of runs that really keep this offense where it wants to be. Browns fans, I think we saw in this Ravens game, a game get out of control. We saw an offense that didn't even click. Regardless of score, the offense certainly didn't click the way that we all kind of hoped it would. With Baker Mayfield firing all cylinders, getting to see the real Odell Beckham out there making plays, and then having our backs and tight ends have a field day, especially in the running game, with all pro caliber talent like Nick Chubb in the backfield. And one of the reasons I think that we didn't see that is we let this game really get out of hand, and it put us in a spot where we kind of had to pass and try to catch up, right? We it looked like we felt rushed. We abandoned the run game, and a lot of the game plan. And so, I think that part of that is having a new head coach, first time head coach, and Kevin Stefanski. I think part of that is a new system for the Browns. I think part of that is also who we played. Let's give the Ravens a lot of credit. Reigning MVP Lamar Jackson, reigning AFC North, champions, right? A lot of playoff experience, head coach with a lot of experience, a lot of success there. We just weren't ready in week one, to be honest with you. Hopefully we see this team improve as time goes on. And thankfully, what I saw in the field was not the Browns just getting out talented at every spot, right? The Ravens certainly have some stars. I mentioned Lamar Jackson. Hollywood Brown made a few plays. Mark Andrews, obviously a very talented player that I'm sure Baker would have loved to have taken with him from Oklahoma. But this was not a team just getting its rear end kicked like we've seen Browns teams do in the past. I really do think we can compete with this Ravens team. We need to put it together, right? This game was not close, and it wasn't close because of the sloppiness and because they made the big plays at those turning points in the game. That's really what it was. Now, the reason I've taken this 2 yard gain by Nick Chubb is because I think it is indicative of the type of play that we need to have to keep this offense on schedule, to keep the running game a threat, and then to later on marry the running game with the passing game and have success, because that's really what this entire offense is based around. It isn't based on just going out there and out-talenting the other team. It's based on effectively faking one thing and then giving the defense another thing, letting them guess at what's coming and never letting them know. So this 2 yard gain just happened to happen on a second down and 6. We're down 7 at this point, still very early in the game, and this is probably within the opening script of the Browns offense. Plays that they kind of called beforehand on Thursday night, and let it sit there a couple of days and just they run whatever they called on Thursday. On Sunday to not give in to the heat of the moment. And again, 2 yard gain, nothing major about this, but what I like here is that we're using our tight end and our fullback to really get information from the defense about how they're going to line up, what kind of structures they're going to play, what kind of fronts they're going to play, and really how they're going to play us and respond to what we do well throughout this game. So first piece of information we get before the snap even happens, right? We're putting this tight end in motion, and one of the things the defense does at all levels of football is they line up according to what's called the passing strength of the offense. Now, a lot of times it could be different defenses will have different rules, but that is either the side with more receivers. So to begin the play, we have 2 receivers up top, right, and 2 receivers down bottom. And so it's really a balanced formation with Nick Chubb in the middle of the formation. So there's really no answers there in terms of more receivers. But a lot of times for defenses, it's also the tight end side of the formation becomes the passing strength. So, what are we going to do? We're going to shift that tight end around. So now we're going to move the tight end to the other side, right? And now, clearly, this is the passing strength of the offense. We have 3 receivers over here. There are a lot more different combinations that we can do down at the bottom side of the screen. And at the top side is a single receiver, right? So we're kind of trying to figure out, okay, how does Baltimore handle a tight end and a fullback, and how do they handle them on the same side of formation? What do they do with their front to try to stop the run? And then it also gives us an indication on this play of are they in man or zone coverage? And anytime you see the safety, in this case, follow across the formation, that gives you a pretty clear indication the other team is in man-to-man coverage. With a single high safety here and no kind of crazy Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, Derwin James type of athlete up in the front who could bail out to play deep. This gives us an indication that they're probably in some form of cover one, right? Single high safety, free safety in the middle of the field, and then man-to-man everywhere else. So we're using our shifts, our motions, and those tight ends that Stefanski loves to use. We're using them in this instance to gather information. Now in this play, the reason this wasn't blocked for more should become obvious right on the snap, and it is because 96 took Wyatt Teller here for a ride into the backfield. Now, I've talked a lot about guard play in the past and how we can get away with pretty mediocre guards, to be honest, in this system. I still believe that. I think Wyatt Teller has played a lot better this year than he did last so far in the season. And I think this is not indicative of his play, right? He's played a lot better than this most down. Just on this down, he got caught a little off guard. I think he was, expecting some help and didn't get it. And so please don't take this as me, calling for Wyatt Teller's head here. 96 just made a play. Let's credit him. So it's going to be outside zone. We're going to shift the tight end. Now we're running zone to the strong side of the field, which means we have 2 extra blockers that we can use at the point of attack to help us create a crease for Nick Chubb, because that's really, honestly, all this man needs. Now, after we shift this over, we notice the Ravens kind of go from this 5-down lineman look, right, with 2 outside linebackers, kind of 3-4, traditional 3-4 type of look. As we shift, now they've kind of moved to a 3 linebacker, right, 4-down lineman kind of situation here, with the safety up in the box 32 here as well to make an 8-man front. So they have just kind of shifted and given us information along with that tight end moving about how they might play this in the future. Now to snap the ball, anytime we see this formation, now that they've kind of shifted into it, we got 9 technique out here. We got a 3 technique in here. That is a big opening. And anytime you see that 9 technique, he's probably going to try to set the edge. And so even if we have, a blocker here try to reach him and seal him inside, that's probably not going to happen just because of the blocking angles. So Hooper's probably going to seal 53 outside here. Nick Chubb that's obviously his first read. And he's going to cut downhill off of that. Now again, in this system with this play outside zone, we are looking to clarify that point of attack. And it's already pretty clear, honestly, right? 53 is going to play out. We're going to try to pinch this 3 technique in, and Chubb's going to have some running room up through there. That's almost always how this kind of play is going to go, and that's probably what the Browns are anticipating pre-snap. Now on the snap, we see Hooper indeed tries to reach him. 53 plays out. Chubb should read that right away. As soon as he gets the ball from Baker, his eye should be coming back inside and scanning just to kind of feel the soft spots in the defense. Here you can also see 32 playing out, which means he's going to have even more room on the inside. Now off the snap, Conklin is going to kind of give a hand technique here on 96 and work his way up to 40 because he and Teller have 40. So boom, right on the snap, he's going to put that hand down. This should be like a stiff arm. Remember, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Conklin should be pushing 96 down into Teller, and it should be pushing Conklin to the play side to come up to go get 40. Now, in this particular hand technique, I think Conklin's arm slips off the back a little bit. You see him kind of lunge forward right there. That almost looks like he didn't get quite as much of 96 as he thought he was going to. So Teller probably thought he was going to be in a different spot. I think neither Conklin nor Teller expected 96 here to penetrate as he did and just bull rush right up the field. And that is why Teller's got caught off guard. And so if you notice, 96 gets a great jump off the snap, does something unexpected, and he is up underneath Wyatt Teller's pads right here, right? And low man wins in football, and that is why 96 is able to walk Teller back into the backfield. That's also why Conklin kind of slipped off that hand technique, is because he was so far deep already into the backfield. Now, after Conklin gets up to the second level, I think he does a great job. And your job on the second level as this lineman is just cover that linebacker up, right? Don't get called for holding. He's probably kind of close here with that bear hug he's got on Malik Harrison there. But he's going to just cover him up and then give Nick Chubb a two-way go, right? Because these linebackers are going to plug us and just come up and hit our linemen, not let us get those double teams to the line of scrimmage. What we want to do is just cover this linebacker up with a bigger guy, and then Nick Chubb can cut left, he can cut right. He can kind of choose where he wants to go off of the back of Jack Conklin. Now inside again, Teller gets a little caught off guard. He's trying to stretch. You see that first step go wide. You like that. And you notice that Wyatt Teller's first step is pretty aggressive. His second step, he sees 96 coming right at him, and he knows he's in for it. So that second step kind of shortens up. And really, it's really tough once you're not low and not coming off the ball low here to get back up underneath the other guy's pad. So, in that situation, obviously you want to play with a little bit more leverage if we can. But, he is where he is back here, which is not a good spot, right? Because Nick Chubb is trying to cut, again, into this hole off that back of Jack Conklin. He's going to read that as that playing out. He's going to cut down off of that. He's going to find a lot of soft space in here. But at the very last second, right, he sees big old 96 flash in front of his face. So we have to get that blocked better, even just to slow him down right here so Chubb can kind of get up in that hole to make his cut. That's where we want to be. Now, if you're Teller and he's up under your pads, you're trying to regain that leverage with everything you got. But the last second, when 96 reaches, right, when that lineman you're blocking, when that linebacker you're blocking reaches to go make a play on the back, that's, again, when you should dump him to the ground and go for the pancake. And look how far off balance he is here. That is a great time to kind of torque him and just take him where he wants to go and dump him into the ground. Now behind him, we've got JC and we've got Joel Bitonio. Again, textbook job here on 71. 71 does not play this as kind of up the field, penetrating his 96. So we're seeing JC be able to get that stiff arm, right? That's a great stiff arm right up under the shoulder pads, kind of jacks 71 back a little bit, rock him back a little bit, and then expose his pads so that Bitonio can kind of get up under him and cut him off from the play. Now, as Treader kind of stiff arms and leaves, right, he's going up through his play side gap, and he's coming to get 48. Does a great job again. On the second level, you want to just square him up, give Nick Chubb a two-way go off your back. Finally, really good awareness, outstanding awareness from a rookie, especially in this kind of environment. By the way, if you're listening to this at home, you're watching this at home, please be safe out there. This virus is still real. I'm hoping we can get it cured soon, right? Everybody's sick of it, but stay safe, stay healthy out there. This is kind of something we saw from Jed in college. He was excellent, had excellent awareness, especially in pass blocking, with picking up stunts, right? Anytime guys were kind of switching positions on him and responsibilities, going one way or the other, Jed just did a great job of just feeling who was going to come to him and blocking the right guy. So it's great to see that continue at the pro level, especially where the speed of the game, can catch a lot of rookies off guard. So, here in this look, right, Jed pretty much is blocking 95 right in front of him. Where we're on this play, we're going zone away. He's going to leave the least dangerous guy, the guy most on the end line of scrimmage, the guy that's going to be responsible for Baker. If Baker runs a bootleg, it's that one defender that should follow Baker out there. Jed is going to leave that guy unblocked, okay? He's going to block the most dangerous threat to the play side, right, which is our left and the offense's right side. Jed is going to try to pick that guy up. So now notice with the tight end shift, right, that linebacker is going to kind of back away. And then right at the very last second, 95 is going to shift outside, right? He's shifting outside into that 5 technique, right? So now, all of a sudden, right before the snap, 95 is probably the edge guy. He's probably the bootleg guy, and 54 becomes Jed's. So Jed, takes that step play side, make sure there's nothing kind of buzzing through that B gap to his right there. And as there's not, he's got his eyes. He first gets that stiff arm on 95, and he's got his eyes downfield, ready to go get 54 because he became more dangerous. And this is, again, what you want to see from this lineman, especially in the backside of the play. If we can cut him, we cut him. If you can't cut him, you seal him off from that play side. You do not let him scrape over the top and go make a tackle on the back. Tremendous job by Jed. Obviously, the run's not at him, so it's an easy job. But I think the awareness and honestly, the speed with which this happens played a real time here for a rookie right there to make this adjustment on the fly and go get the right guy was very, very impressive. Now back to the action that everyone cares about, right? Nick Chubb. So Chubb's read on this play, again, his first end man line of scrimmage, that is going to be 53. He's going to scan immediately from him inside because, again, it's a 9 technique. You know he's probably going to play out, and you need to cut it downhill. Now, Nick Chubb's vision is unbelievable, and it's, I think, really his best asset, as a professional football player, and that's why I think he's a great fit for this or, honestly, any system. he just is so aware of the defense and can just get to where you're not, right? Like that's just one of Nick Chubb's best attributes, and it's hard to really give him credit for that because it's something that's not physical. It's just a skill and innate kind of feeling that he has, and probably something that's come with a lot of repetitions at that running back position. But in this case, Nick Chubb doesn't. You can't see 96 because he doesn't get there till the very last minute, right? He thinks kind of Teller kind of has him here. He's kind of covering him up, but at the very last second, he gets that swim kind of right arm over, and so Nick Chubb kind of tries to cut this too late. So I think eventually, what this is going to turn into is Chubb either he's got to make a cut here on that foot and come backside, or once he takes that step and there's no cut with that outside foot right there, this has got to be hard up into this hole and just putting your head down and get what you can get. And I think that'll come with time, right? This is not a system Nick Chubb is used to either. We did run outside zone with the previous regime, but not like this. In any event, Chubb kind of hesitates. He kind of half cuts. He double cuts. You see him kind of cut there and try to work. He's trying to get back, maybe behind 96 again. Realizes he can't get all the way back there, and then just puts his head down and keeps his legs churning. And that is really the way he needs to finish every run in this system, because that is what turns these tackle for losses into these 2-yard gains, right, and keeps drives alive. So now we're on the 32. We just got to get to the 35 to get a first down, instead of being back maybe 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, and then all of a sudden the Ravens know that a pass is coming, right? Because that takes this offense completely out of the position where it wants to be, and it puts us in that pressure cooker, right? It puts us in that situation where again, I talked about it. Baker's got to perform. OBJ's got to perform. Stefanski's got to perform. And the defense knows what's coming. So in any event, Browns fans, great to see, this zone play finally in brown and orange. Great to see our players running it. And hopefully, even though they're not the sexiest thing in the world, we can see more of these 2-yard gains to just keep our offense on schedule and keep us out of those big holes that we found ourselves in the latter half of week 1. That's it for me for today, Browns fans. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rufio. Make sure to visit dogsbynature.com for all your Cleveland Browns news and analysis. I'll see you there in the comments.